Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Kotaku editor Alyssa Mercante. Actually, we're going to talk about Kotaku, I think, in general, and just kind of...
You were like, you're picking on her.
We're pointing out that what she is accusing YouTubers of, she herself is doing.
Shocker.
And this is not unique to her. And to be fair, I'm going to be fair here. Sometimes YouTubers are calling out journalists for things that YouTubers themselves do, right? But I'm just going to say, if you're going to go on a big rant and tell the world how awful YouTubers are because they're not real journalists, we're going to take a look at the articles she's been writing lately and how they're basically just a 180 from everything that YouTubers are talking about. The same talking points, just a contrary opinion. Not a lot of investigative journalism going on there. I just want to point that out. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
And I think a lot of gamers are counting down the days until Kotaku gets sold off or shut down, and it's coming pretty soon. Kotaku Australia, of course, got shut down already. That was a site that was, I guess the Kotaku name was leased by a publisher in Australia, and they decided, yeah, we ain't paying for this shit. There's no reason to pay for it. But this wonderful article, and I swear to God, she's doing it just to be contrary at this point. This is, if you're mad about The Acolyte, you haven't been paying attention to Star Wars.
We're right. Most people aren't paying attention to Star Wars, so yeah.
So I'm just gonna take a cursory glance at this, and
okay, I'm guessing toxic men are white men or white straight men. You know, they're terrible people if they don't like the Acolyte. Am I right?
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah, they're talking about Anakin and the whole thing. Now, here's what I want to show you though, because. Look, and I'm going to tell you what prompted this. You're laughing.
I'm not laughing.
I thought you were laughing. I thought you were giggling. I didn't hear a giggle? You should be laughing. Laugh.
No, but I'm a little concerned if you're hearing weird giggles in this place. I'm like, are we haunted in here?
We might be. She went on a bender the other day. Let's see if I can find it here. Oh, there it is. You have no idea what journalism is. Your websites look like they're from 2001. I don't think they've updated.
Yeah, we talked about this, the other day.
Yeah, they're riddled with typos. You use yourselves as a source for stories. Ironically enough, Kotaku uses itself as a source for stories, and a lot of these websites, especially the Geo Media owned websites, they cite each other. And the same thing happens with Valnet. They all cite each other. And it's basically that little circle jerk.
It pretty much is.
You have an internet connection and a webcam and think you have something worthy to say. The same could be said of any gaming journo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is kind of hypocritical. Then we had this nugget today. The moment a straight white male feels like the world isn't about him for a few minutes, he starts braying about taking back a space. The feebleness of a mind like that. She sounds like a supervillain. The feebleness of a mind like that.
No,
the crippling insecurity that eats away at you. Fascinating.
No, it's called she gets attention for it, so she keeps doing it because she's getting attention for it. And this attention doesn't require her to be on her back or her knees, which is a refreshing change for her.
Anybody with a webcam.
Well,
anybody with a webcam.
10 to 1 is she gets, if Kotaku closes, she does an OnlyFans.
I don't know. You know, feels like it's easy to forget what we actually do for work when doom scrolling on this hell site. Well, why are you here?
Then? That's all she does is like go on here. It's like she's like constantly on there.
Okay. I get what's going on. She's justifying her existence. Here are some recent stories I'm proud of. Talking ageism in the industry with some legends. The legacy of war games and their portrayal of the Middle East. Okay. Reporting on the Unity installation fee controversy. Okay. A report on toxicity against women in game voice chat.
Well, I mean, I'm going to tell you, you can get pissed at me all you want. I'm not going to say that isn't true because like I've heard it from my sister who plays games and my daughter who plays games. They don't even like to go on mic because as soon as they go on mic and someone hears their girl, they immediately start, you know, making comments at them. That
actually is not untrue. Yeah.
I mean, you can sit there and say it doesn't happen, but I know it does.
It happens. I know Squid King, who was freakishly good at some games when he was younger, actually had to turn his mic off because people call him a squeaker.
Yeah, well.
You know, and I mean, we're talking when he was like 10 or 11 years old, but he was very good at some games. The whole story behind that. But yeah, so I think somebody is trying to push back against pushback or trying to justify her job. She says, these are longer, more in-depth reported pieces. I do criticism, news, thirsting, and more. And if you look, I do a lot of thirsting too. I'm thirsty today. It's hot. It's hot outside. So I'm looking at what she writes, right?
The Acolyte is doing a different kind of fan service and it rocks.
Right? Keywords. So I'm going to tell you how this works, guys. We're going to let you in on a little inside baseball. And we've talked about it before. I don't know if we've talked about it at length, but we have talked about it before. She is correct in the fact that Google AI is destroying the whole blog ecosphere. And a lot of these people tried to jump to podcasting and video, and they're not very good at it unless it involves porn.
I'm being good.
Okay. I'm looking at your face trying to get a reaction out of you.
Here's a reaction.
Okay. So, but like I'm looking at the topic she discusses, and it feels to me like she's basically been spending the last couple months, ever since the Sweet Baby Inc. thing, trying to do contrarian pieces.
I think she got a lot of attraction to Sweet Baby Inc. People actually paid, and then she got tension, and now she's trying to keep that momentum.
Well, she's probably being told, you bring views, we don't care how you do it.
Right.
You bring
I'm
views.
not going to say much because a lot of people do. I mean, heck, we do it sometimes. But I mean,
sometimes
people do it. I don't say that they're not. The difference is like, you know, she is just like perpetually banging that damn drum.
Yeah, so we have the Acolyte,
Star Wars,
lots of
Elden Ring.
You can pet the dog. Star Wars Outlaws, that was a big controversy. Assassin's Creed Shadows, that was a big controversy.
That people don't like, players don't like, she probably loves.
That's the kind of vibe I'm getting, right? Star Wars. Valorant and toxic players, that was a buzzword. And look, so here's the inside baseball. The inside baseball is a lot of these websites actually have, I'm not even kidding, they have tools that they use that tell them what content to create based on the algorithm for their website. And a lot of these big networks, I'm sure GeoMedia has one, Valnet has one. Why you see 50 different articles about the same thing across, 5 different Valnet sites? Because their computer is telling them, probably AI is telling them, you write articles about XYZ thing and you're probably going to get hits. Maybe possibly.
Well, we know the places were using it. They said they were.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just kind of like, I really feel like she is trying to justify her position. And I have to wonder if this isn't like, we're getting really close to the end. And look, I want to be clear. Like, we've talked about gaming journos. We've talked about, they're so happy they want people to lose their jobs. I don't want everybody to lose their jobs. There actually are some good journalists out there. There are some good gaming journos out there. I feel like the relationship right now, though, lately, especially with Kotaku, especially with Polygon, has been, very much like, let's attack the YouTubers and the gamers, and kind of circle the wagons for our friends and all that shit. Because it is very much become like an us versus them thing, which is kind of stupid. I mean, it used to all kind of be the same. It used to just be gamers and people who didn't game. But now we have a bunch of people who I believe, and I'm not saying Alyssa Mercante necessarily is one of them, but they have gotten into the gaming space. They don't actually play games. They don't really like games. They're just kind of doing their time there. And they're using their platform to attack their own enemies.
That's what she's doing. I mean, like, you shouldn't insert your own stuff into an article. She says she does an article on the one indie game player and then use it the whole time to make a piece about Grums.
This one. Yeah. This farm folks thing, that I'm going to be honest, if she worked for me, I would have fired her over that because you took this piece, you put this guy on blast because of the jiggle physics joke, and it was a joke.
And then she used the entire article because she has a war with Grums.
Because to go to war with your Twitter adversaries. And it's like, you're not scoring any points. I think these journos know the end is near. I think that's my takeaway from all of this. I think they know. I don't think they give a shit. I think they're just like, well, I'm going to do what I can do, in the meantime. But the fact that she's basically putting up her resume now and justifying that she did a journalism tells me that she knows she's going to be out of work soon. She's looking for a job, or she's just ass mad that people on Twitter or people on YouTube are saying that she's not actually a real journalist.
But the thing is, like, people give a shit about her is on Twitter, because that's the only place anybody knows who she is. And I'm like, don't go to Twitter then. But she can't not go to Twitter because then where's she going to go get her hit if people know who she is?
That's just
and
it.
the only reason people know who she is because of her crappy takes, and people like Grumps put her on blast. That's the only reason anybody knows who she is anyway.
What's so weird about this is you have people like Colin Moriarty, who's doing very, very well for himself and in his group on Patreon, doing their videos and stuff that way. And you've had other people jump from, you know, like IGN and other websites, and they've gone out on their own, from Rooster Teeth, from other, you know, and they've done fine. There's no reason why some of these people, if they're really that good, they couldn't just go out on their own. There actually was a bunch of people, I guess, they got laid off from some of these sites and they started their own site. I think it was Aftermath, I think it was called. But they're actually doing it on their own. Like, you can do it on your own, but you know, it's easier just to move into a warm seat, right? And that's the same is true of journalism as it is of gaming or whatever. But I think they're just being intentionally antagonistic at this point because they know that we're getting close to the end. And so you have nothing left to lose. And if they're telling you, you know, bring views or do game guides or do some busy work until we shut this shit down, they know. I think they know. I mean, you cannot be that stupid. They've already laid off their video team. They're shutting it down, and Stages are probably actively looking for a buyer, and I don't think anybody's interested. So we're going to wrap this up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, occasionally we do a journalism. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.